Yo, this is Whyt, and today we are back. It feels so good to be back and talk about another one-shot with y'all. This one-shot is a lot like Texas. It's bigger and it's better. Everything about this one-shot trumps the previous one-shot. The story elements are a lot better. There's actually more of a theme, and the artwork, the artwork is phenomenal in here. I don't mean to, toot my own horn here, but we have upgraded in so many ways that I'm very excited to bring this to y'all. Now let's get right into it. Starting off with the ups and downs of this one shot. This one shot really took my artwork to the next level. There was so many times that I was going through some of these storyboards realizing like, how in the heck am I gonna do this? There were so many times that I just had to go out of my comfort zone and just do things that I just haven't done previously. This really did just upgrade everything. I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to really go out of my way and try new things. And a lot with Levin stuff too, man. I really feel like we did above and beyond. If anybody read the previous one-shot Titus, it kind of was a lot of build-up with very little fighting. In this one, it is legit quite the opposite. Like, we have some build-up for sure, but there is a lot more fighting. Now this ended up being 10 to 15 pages longer than the previous one, which was Titus, so we ended up having to do a lot more in this one. But there was a lot of cool things that we did with this. The artwork, I've never drawn cars before. Some of these backgrounds, I ended up actually going outside and getting reference. And so there was just a lot of elements that were really new for this one, and that's what made it a lot more exciting. And the fact that I was able to get real life reference, I feel like my art was able to be better, because in the Titus one shot, everything was just kind of made up. We actually ended up having to do a lot of concept art previously for Titus than we did with this one. And since this one is based more in reality and it's more grounded because it takes place in Dallas, Texas, a lot of the reference we could go out and get ourselves. We can experience it ourselves. And so I think my artwork reflected that a lot more. And so I thought that was really cool to see, because in some of these shots, I know exactly where I was at when I took them. I know what I was doing. And so to kind of see that, where it's like, oh, I can even go back to those places now and be like, I remember that I did this here, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really cool. I think the bad thing, some of the things that really was kind of hard to learn, was just some of these angles. I'm used to just doing the normal 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective. And some of these things in here, I'm just like, what the heck angle is this when I'm having to do? There's a shot where one of the characters is getting hit out of the building. And I actually thought that was funny, because I remember looking at the storyboard being like, what the heck, and how am I supposed to draw this? I've never done anything like this before. Then I realized, and I had my third eye open, and I practically realized that the angle that it was actually just 1-point perspective. And I remember actually coming to the conclusion this while watching Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi one, because the way that they were having him crawl on the wall was that the wall is actually the floor. And so he's crawling up this wall, but it actually wasn't really a wall, it was the floor. And so then I was like, dude, I can take that to my art. This is literally just 1-point perspective, but I'm drawing the wall as the floor, and then the other walls are the other sides of the building. And so that kind of really just opened up my eyes of like, oh, this is not as hard as I thought it was gonna be. Some of the other things that I realized was, since I actually had real reference to go off of on some of these backgrounds, I got to do more texturing, things that I knew that would be this texture. And I learned a lot of shortcuts in this as well that I could do. And so everything was just a very big learning experience, as these things usually are. And also some of the writing stuff I kind of learned from the previous one with all of the notes that all the people that read it gave me. And I kind of just took that and just ran with it with this one. And I even got some reviews this time that I'll be using for my next one shot that I'll be excited for. But yeah, so a lot of these things was just a really big learning experience. And some of these artworks that we did for this was a whole lot better. In Titus, we only had one other artwork for it, like promo art for it, which was just a reused panel in the actual manga. And so we didn't really have the illustrations that we wanted to have in the first Titus one. This one, we actually ended up completing the 2 illustrations that we wanted to do. And so that was really cool. And we ended up getting those done, and that ended up looking so good. those ended up taking a really long time. But also in this one, I feel like I had more to do, because in the previous one, in the Titus one, I ended up having to do backgrounds because there was a backgrounds in a lot of those things, but they weren't like background centric. It wasn't the focus. In this one, there's multiple shots where it is like the background is the selling point, or if not, like the more complex part of it, which I was really excited to kind of go in and actually do something in this one, because usually I just write it and then I do some of the backgrounds and then whatever, but in this one I ended up playing a bigger part into that, and I felt that that was really cool. But anyways, now I'm going to shift it over to Levin, and he's going to talk about his experience.
Yo, it's me again. I'm Levin, the character artist behind Studio Ivory. Yuega and I have worked extra hard to bring you our second one-shot, Psychic Psycho. Fortunately, unlike last time, my computer decided it didn't want to explode, meaning we were able to finish this one-shot on a much more manageable time frame. And thanks to our experience working on Titus and the feedback we received, we were able to address many of the places that Titus fell short. One of which was the lack of action and impact. Titus was all build up and barely any action, but this time we managed to fill nearly a third of the pages solely dedicated to action. But despite all that, I do feel like there are some places that I could still improve upon. Working on Titus and the Psychic Psycho one-shots, I've learned many harsh but very important lessons. The most important of which was speed. The amount of time it took me to draw the first 10 pages versus the last 40 were about the same time. I always looked at myself as a slow artist, managing to maybe push out an illustration or two every couple months. But due to having a strict deadline and people holding me accountable, I was able to pass my previous limits and produce art on a scale I previously would have never been able to dream of. The second lesson I learned was the importance of shadows and how tricky screen tones are to work with. If you read the one shot, you may have noticed a few pages where the lighting just seems a bit off. One of the standout pages is this one. While I was shading this page in Clip Studio Paint, it looked as if it were shaded just fine, but when I rendered the page into an image, it lost a lot of the darkness it once had. You could see through what was once pitch black and see the incomplete inking I had underneath it. In the future, I'm hoping to rely less on screen tones, and most of the shadows and details I will draw by hand in the future.
That'll be the end of this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't respond to all, but I respond to many. If you guys haven't checked out the one-shot, that will be in the link in the description below. And if you guys have checked it out, be sure to give me your thoughts on this video. Also, be sure to check out Fried Gunk. He helped us out a little bit with the spider design. He'll be doing a video on his process on that as well. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Levin and Uegar and Studio Ivory. That'll be the end of this video. Peace.